Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back. It's Sunday, which means one thing, and I have just done one thing for my mate Jakey Poo. I have set the stream all yellow to... He's not happy. He's not happy. I was thinking, what colour do I make it? We're going for yellow for the Brewers. Come on. There you are, David. I told you we're going to get him, and that wasn't one that's planned. How are we doing? Jake, how are we, mate? Can we stop sulking?
I'm not coming on until you change the colour.
No, we're not.
That is preposterous. That is out of order, Benjamin, and you know that. You're out of order for that. I'm fine, mate.
That's why we're friends. Because, just saying, you know.
I'm fine, mate. Yeah, I've like I told you just now, I've just gone and recorded our podcast, so I have kind of got my frustrations out. I've got my frustrations out on there. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Can I just say, I've had an honest chat about Jake about this before stream. He's come on. You're right. Yeah. What have you been up to? Nothing. What have you done today? Podcast. Obviously quite down. My motto is, Jake, chill. And in the last few weeks, I'll give you one bit of credit. You've not got 2 up when you've won. And I think that in a way, you've not enjoyed watching you. And you lost the will. And I get it as a football fan. You've lost. Mid-table. Chill. At Fleetwood yesterday, a player shushed our own supporters after scoring a goal and has been criticised heavily. And I can see why the fans are annoyed. But for me, fans can say whatever they want about players within reason. Don't get me wrong about performance. But as soon as a player bites back, all of a sudden they're not allowed to do that. So for me, I was quite laughing when Ryan Graydon did it. And I genuinely think, well, he's taking his frustrations out. He's not been good enough in terms of goals. Get granted. Then we've got our assistant manager coming over to the fans after the game, having a pop about something apparently. And then it's been kick-off on the Cod Army today. So you could have it worse. Just chill out. Right, we are both mid-table. We are both not enjoying what we're seeing this year. I've hated this. This has been, I would say, the worst season I've ever watched from a Fleetwood POV. And I got to watch us get relegated last year. Jenny, it's been the most boring season from hell for different reasons. Just chill. Just try not get to. You've got other things on your mind as well. So just keep.
There's no other things on my mind. It consumes my life.
Tell you what, we're going to take it off your mind, right? And I thought of you before, right? When I saw this thing, went to Accrington today, this Nathan Aspinall thing, right? Who is Fleetwood's right wing back that we signed from Charlton? Do you remember him?
You signed from Cheltenham?
Yeah. Right wing back, midfielder, blonde hair.
Oh, yeah, he's got the surname of a good friend of mine.
What's he called?
Ryan Broom.
What? Take the R out of that word.
Boom.
Times 4. If you were to say
no, no,
boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. There ain't nobody better than Charlie Webster. Boom, 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 boom.
Right, that's it. That's it. I'm off.
Yes. Anyway, we'll come to the chat. For me, if I'm miserable after yesterday, right? I've got to bring somebody else down with me. So if you could all like the stream, all subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Hello to Parmex. He's here. You lot see? Be like Parmex.
It's easy being in the chat and just typing the word evening, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you seen? Go back on Sue's picture.
What?
Go back on Sue's picture. That's with a Burton Albion player. That's with Terence Van Kooten, who she's now befriended.
I like the way that she's caught out JJ. Yeah, no.
Poor JJ. Yeah, poor JJ. Bless him.
Ethan's gone as well.
God.
Yeah, it'll be my Terence next, won't it?
My Brendan.
How are you genuinely doing? Are you okay?
I'm fine, mate. I've not.
What a legend.
I've not had it in the neck from David at all day. I haven't. I've not.
Thank you very much, Shane.
That pizza that you spoke about me though.
Yeah.
And I will say David came to Lincoln. We had a great meal out at the Ritz. Thank you to
That's
Lucas.
The Wetherspoons, by the way.
It is Wetherspoons. Thank you to Lucas, Kayla, Ollie, and David for the amazing company. It was quite literally the highlight of my day. The pizza was also very nice, in which David did did purchase for me. So I was, yeah, I was. I tell you what, Nappers, that pizza came recommended, and it was very nice.
I had it
Very good.
today. I had it today actually, with some strips at the protein in after my run. But we will get on to football soon, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
Yeah, we won't.
How was your weekend in Grimsby, mate?
Um,
Could be worse. I could have spent my weekend there.
So I got on the coach, had a good chat with Kershaw. That was nice. That was probably the highlight of the day. That's when you know that you're scraping barrel here. Get to the spoons. I fancy a burger today. No burgers. Right, pizza then. No pizzas. What do I have? Chicken strips. Yeah, I'll have that. Fine. Have some chips. That's fine. Then I get an ice cream. No ice cream. Oh my god! So that started. I got to the ground and it was a weird stepped up. The ground was in the middle of nowhere. Then there was a weird supporters behind the away, and then we lost. I mean, yeah,
criminal, mate.
Yeah,
criminal.
Here she is, our favourite lady.
Be careful. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Be careful. You can't call Anne-Marie your favourite lady.
Anyway, we will move on.
No, we won't.
We will. There's 90 people in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you get liking and subscribing. It does help a lot as well. Thank you very much for 16,500 subscribers. We're going to start off, and it's at the Valley, where Charlton Athletic ended victorious in a 3-0 victory over their opponents, Exeter City. 3 goals, 3 points, and a clean sheet. An own goal by McDonald. Before Tyrese Campbell and Miles Leeburn did head home. Did find a way through the Exeter City net. A dominant performance from the Addicts, 11 shots to 6. The Grecians only having 1 shot on target. Charlton Athletic have actually just lost one of their last 8 league games against the Grecians. They've won 6 of those, but they did lose this reserve fixture 1-0 in November last year as well. Charlton have now just lost one of their last 8 league games, winning 6 of those and scoring exactly 2 in 6 of those 8 games as well. They've also won 9, drawn 4, lost twice in the last 15 games, collecting 31 points, only losing to Birmingham City and Rotherham, both away, both by 2 goals in that one. A good performance, a good win, solid, going under the radar. It's Leyton Orient on 53. Charlton Athletic from 53. Bolton Wanderers on 53. Both on the same games played. In the last 6, Leyton Orient have got 12 points collected. Charlton Athletic have got 13 points collected, and Bolton Wanderers have taken 15 points. It's very tight up there as well. They have the second best goal difference in that run as well. They've won 15 games this season. A good performance going under the radar. The Grecians will come to.
Yeah, I thought Charlton were good, mate. I thought they were effective in what they did. They got off obviously to the right start of an own goal from McDonald, but took the tie away from Exeter. You can tell the quality that they've got in this team. You just look at the 11: Connor Coventry, Croy Anderson, Luke Berry, Tyrese Campbell, Matty Godden, Thierry Small, all been massive parts of this Charlton team so far this year. Going forward, they look outstanding. They brought on Miles Leeburn, who obviously ended up coming to score. The reason I think Charlton might find themselves finishing in the top 6, Ben, for me, is they've added depth. Whereas, first half of the season, Nathan Jones rarely turned to his bench and was able to win a game. Look at the... what are you smiling at? Oh, okay.
Tarek Foku. Did you see Gab's video?
Eh?
Gab Sutton's video?
No, I've not seen it.
He did a really in-depth video about it, and I watched it. Anyway, 20 seconds in, it's just the way he did it, and he can get away with it because it's Gab. He's a legend, isn't he? He went, yeah, we've got Tarek Foku, and then he went, oh, no, sorry, Tarek Fosu, and I'm like, oh, blunder of the year.
Allowed.
I could go up against this boy.
Yeah, no, it was. I feel like they've been able to add a little bit of depth into that team in January, and you're talking about having Leeburn back. That's massive. Gilbert coming off the bench. It was a good option as well. He's been productive since signing on loan for Middlesbrough. And they're bringing on players like Tom McIntyre off the bench, Ben, who are just a step above over what potentially they had at left centre back earlier on in the season. So, yeah, no, it was a good win for them. Certainly, perhaps not vintage, but still to beat a mid-table, middle of the road League One team team by 3 goals to nil at home was outstanding. And like you say, it puts them level on points with Leyton Orient. Say games played, goal difference probably needs to be a little bit better. But I feel like yesterday was a time we finally saw Nathan Jones take the handbrake off this Charlton team. And when they get going, when they're fully flowing, Ben, this Charlton team can be a absolute menace to anybody. And they proved it again yesterday.
I think they've been better performance-wise since they beat Northampton 5-0. I think the handbrake's been off for a little bit, to be fair. They beat Stevenage. They got a good point away at Bloomfield Road that, let's be honest about it, I say good point. They should have won the game. They were 2 goals up in that one at the start of February. They are starting to get there now as well. A few questions has come in as well.
Brilliant.
We'll come to it. I tell you what, so I had a story on this. I went for a run about 6:30 this morning to get it in. And I was meant to run 30k. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm doing a marathon in 9 weeks' time. I don't think I will be at this moment in time, put it that way. So I get first 6 now, okay, nice, win behind me, turn back, wins against me. 30k, I thought, I'll carry on a little bit more, it's fine. Get to about 17k, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is hell. My shins, sorry, I didn't know what it was at the time. I've heard of shins, but I didn't register in my brain. It was killing me. Absolutely killing me. And it almost felt like a dead leg. It's because I had a pain in the back of my shins as well. Like almost felt like a bit of a dead leg that someone was kicking me from like under the ankle, like, you know what I mean? Like where the leg meets the upper part of the body. The shin, like this part there, the back of it. I'm not good at explaining it.
The calf, that's your calf.
No, not my calf. That's not me calf. That's me knee.
No, but you were pointing to the back of that, which is your calf.
Yeah, but anyway, but like the back of that, oh my God, it felt like someone was kicking me, like stabbing me, and I felt like I was going to tumble. So I got to 21k, which is a half marathon in just under 2 hours, and I feel absolutely on my knees. So that's how the shin splint is. And
do you run, Nappers? Do you run?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Talk
don't
about running.
It.
Huddersfield couldn't quite run past.
We're not talking about Exeter, no?
Oh well, we can do. Poor. In a relegation battle, I don't care what anybody says. They did beat Cambridge last time out, but up until Harris came out, everybody seems to beat Cambridge at this moment in time. Who did get a good result yesterday, we will come to as well. They have got 35 points. They are now just 3 points above the drop. That is mainly because Burton now been picked up in form. Crawley have started to get a few points on the board in recent weeks before yesterday as well. Bristol Rovers have had a couple of good 3-1 home victories. It's Burton and Barnsley. Peterborough have actually got 7 points in the last 6. Exeter have only collected 4. And Exeter actually have the lowest amount of points since match week 10. Which is a worry. Again, start the season off like a house on fire. But it's not how you start, Jake. It's how you finish, and you'll know all about that.
Why will I know all about that, mate?
Well, you start well and you fade every time I play in 5-a-side.
I play well every time I play 5-a-side, for your information. Yeah, they're falling like a stone, aren't they? And I'm surprised because I watched them in the win over Cambridge the other week. I thought they were okay. What leads me to think Exeter might be okay? That's out of order, Nappers.
It was an accident.
It's out of order. Shouldn't be doing that to people.
It's an accident.
It's an accident. Okay, I might accidentally throw you into the River Thames when we go to London in a couple of months. How about that?
Yeah, please.
Because then you get to do a heptathlon, don't you? Because you can do the running. I can't
ride a bike.
Oh, there you are. So we need to make you learn how to swim, and then we need to make you learn how to.
I know how to ride a bike. I just don't do it.
Oh well, we can get you riding one of the Boris bikes or whatever they're called nowadays. Yeah, they're plummeting towards the bottom of the league, mate. And what gives me a little bit of hope is that Exeter have games in hand on those in the bottom 4. Like, 3 points ahead of Burton Albion, but they've still got 2 games in hand. And this Exeter team, whilst they got beat on Saturday, they still have got some good players, Ben. Players that when they play against other bottom teams, like we saw against Cambridge the other week, are good enough to beat them. So you're talking like Joe Whitworth in goal was a good keeper, Damien Mitchell, Trevitt, Joe Colwell, McGuinness as well. So yeah, I understand the frustrations of Exeter fans because they have completely dropped like a stone, but they're I don't know. Gary Colwell just seems like he's in a bit of trouble at the moment.
Yeah. Do you say Gary Bowyer then?
Gary Colwell.
Oh, I think it's a Gary Bowyer.
Trust me, I'm not talking about Gary Bowyer once.
We are. That's. I'm
You
thinking.
can.
Yeah,
You
but
can.
I won't be there. If you'd have won 1-0 in the last minute yesterday, oh my lord!
Put it in my pigeonhole, but I
Yeah.
won't read it.
Can I just say, I use this phrase a lot, but one thing I liked about Peterborough yesterday, and although Huddersfield didn't have a shot on goal, we've mentioned this season that Peterborough have been soft, flaky, easy to play against, young, raw, and can't dig it out. I said about Fleetwood yesterday, Fleetwood win when it's all sunshine and rainbows and when they play good football and when they can counteract good sides and they look good on the eye. You think, it's a good performance like Wimbledon the other day, although they didn't win the game. I think Peterborough have been like that this year. And I've mentioned how when they're on it, they can normally 3-4-5-0 when they've been good at this level before. But when they go away somewhere tough and the crowd's on the back, it's a big game for tensions and they don't play well and it's a dogged game. They lose games 1-0, they lose games 2-1. Yesterday, they won that game of football 1-0. It wasn't a great game overall, but they limited Huddersfield to very few opportunities in the football match. And this is a Huddersfield side that had just won the back-to-back games, after find a way. I thought they were fortunate the other day at times, Huddersfield, to win the game of football against Shrewsbury. Look, it was 12 shots to 11, but 0 shots on target to 4. Peterborough it was even in terms of the goal, the goal in terms of the match, but Peterborough get that fine margin. If they didn't win that game of football, they find themselves in the bottom 4, and they needed to find it. And look, last 6 games, it's 7 points in 6. It's not disastrous form, but they're losing too many games of football. Few starts. This is Peterborough's first away win away from home against Huddersfield since 2003. A 1-0 away win on that day. Same scoreline to this day. Peterborough's first away win actually ended a tough period. And although it felt like their first away win since 2003, a year after Anne-Marie, Peterborough had failed to win any of their last 13 league away games before this, only getting 3 points in that period from a possible 39. Not since September 2012 have the Posh enjoyed a longer run, which was 14 games. They could have actually leveled that, where the Peterborough have been as poor away from home as well. Posh actually won the first 2 away games of the season, if you remember, as well, against Shrewsbury and Exeter in August 2024. What's followed is a disastrous period away from home, and that is why they're in the issues they are. If they'd have won a couple of those away games, I know if I had wheels, I could be a bit of bag. I get that. It's maybe not the best of phrase and the best of person to use on the stream. Maybe if I'd have had, I don't know. Maybe if I was made out of spaghetti, I'd be spaghetti. Let's say that. I can't really use his line at this moment in time. Not a great look, is it? They'd be well away from that bottom area. My big belief is that you win games of football at home. You don't. So you want to win games of football at home regularly enough and then don't lose away. And if you do that, you'll be a good side. I know that easier said than done. But if you want to be a top side, I worked out the other day, you need to probably average about 1.9 points per game and 1.3 points away from home if you want to be a good side at this level. If you want to be a mid-table side where people are trying to push on to be, you want to try and get 1.5 points at home and 1 point away from home every week. If you do that over the course of the season, you'll have, 62 points, 39, 62 points-ish, and that'll be comfortably away. I do think this Peterborough side will get out of it. Huddersfield have actually now failed to win any of their last 6 home league games, losing 3, drawing 3. The last time they endured a run similar to this was between January and March 2010, where they were in League One at the time. Good result for the Posh.
Good result. It's a great result, Ben. It's an absolutely outstanding result because
good size win 1-0 on the 22nd of February, I've heard.
Do you want me to continue, or are you going to continue to taunt me, or can I go ahead with that?
Can I just say, if you'd have won that game of football yesterday 1-0, we both know how.
We'll come on to that, Ben, because maybe we should have done. No, I'm only messing. It was. It's a great result for Peterborough. Really great performances from Teo Eden at left back. His ball in for the goal was outstanding. Cipriano, who I think turned down moves into the Championship in the January window in an attempt to try and steer Peterborough clear of the bottom 4. Good header for him. Obviously, he's known for arriving late into the box, and he scored some crucial goals during his time at Peterborough, and that's another one that hopefully for them might be seeing them on the way to safety, but some good performance yesterday. They've had a lot of criticism of some of these Peterborough players for not being good enough, for not having the talent. Whereas yesterday, Abraham Ado had a lot of stick on Twitter and social media. He was outstanding. Kean Hayes sort of playing in a slightly weird role behind the striker. I think he's got really good quick feet to allow him to do so. Malik Mothersill had another great game on the left-hand side. It felt like this was a little bit like Peterborough of last season, Ben. It felt a little bit like Peterborough were back to competing with the better teams. And yesterday they did that. This is a Huddersfield team that, whilst they haven't won as many games at the John Smiths as maybe they would have liked, to go there and win by a goal to nil is particularly impressive. It shows to me. You look at that team on paper, Ben. That team should not be finishing where they are in the league. Like, genuinely, they are. The names on paper are good enough. I think in terms of the table, that obviously that massively helps them out, doesn't it? It put, with Burton winning, with results going not particularly for them yesterday. It was important that they were able to keep up with the teams above them, and winning away at Huddersfield has been able for them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great performance. I said before that I do think these 5 are in the playoffs, the top 5. However, you look at it, Huddersfield are only 2 points above. Stockport are only 4 points above, playing a game more. Wrexham, it could all change. This. I think Barnsley are out of it. I don't think they've got the consistency there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be harsh on Reading because I know they've got a spirit and they're beaten in 5. I totally get that. But overall, I think this is between Bolton, Charlton, and then the 4 that are in the playoffs, and Wycombe are definitely in some sort of mix as it is. I think you're looking at a 7-team league, including Reading, if you are going to include them for 4 positions. And at the bottom, I think that we'll come to that in a bit. But obviously, people getting that win. I think that realistically, Wigan downwards, you would say maybe even Mansfield downwards, the form they're in. But realistically, you're looking maybe Northampton. But again, it all changes because teams are getting wins this year. It's so, and I don't think I've seen a league season for a long while where I'm seeing teams at the bottom get results as often as they are. And Fleetwood have been down there 2 of the last 3 years when being in League One. And even the season before last, Fleetwood were in the bottom 4 with 18 games to play. And Fleetwood go and splash out on Jack Marriott and Jaden Stockley. And we finish, 3 points outside the top 12. So it wasn't too bad.
And most importantly, how many points behind us?
2, I think. Was it 2 or 3 or 4 maybe?
Which meant you had to wear the Lincoln.
Was it 4?
No,
we were above you then because we were winning and you were drawing, and then we drew and you won.
Yeah, I reckon it was 2. I think it was 2 points.
Yeah, and we still, Paddy Lane still has given you nightmares for that as well. None of our players can learn the offside rule. That's all I'll say.
Likewise.
Next up, Cambridge 2, Stockport 0. New managerial balance. Before, Stockport had won 6 of the previous 7 league games because they'd just 3 goals across that time. Step forward, the Abbey Stadium. Step forward, Cambridge United, who have been struggling. Just their 6th victory of the season. Good scenes at the end, with Harris going over to stand behind the goal, fist bumping as well. Stokes with a brace as well, which is always good to see. And a player that's young, raw, 4 shots, 2 on target. Stockport had 18, 5 on target. Stockport had the dominant possession-wise, but Cambridge won the game. And they played with a spirit. It was really good. Good performance. Overall, these do stay 8 points adrift. They could have gone 11. 14 games to go. Are they still in it? Stockport are halted in that little bit of good form that they had to get them into the playoffs. Well, they are still 4 points above, but nothing's ever certain. Some big games coming up for County as well, which is going to be interesting to say the least. March is a big month for them. They actually play 6 games. They actually play Blackpool at home, Northampton away, Charlton at home, Bolton away, Wrexham and Burton. 6 teams. You're getting 2 relegation scrap teams. In fairness, you get a mid-table side in Blackpool that are hunting down an ambitious playoff spot. And then you've got 3, promotion races as well.
Yeah. All Although what I would caveat is that every game at this part of the season, probably again, apart from
It
those
is,
teams,
but I mean, there
at
is a
all.
team in the mini league where you think, well, they're not having enough quality to go down. Lincoln, for example. Whereas, let's be honest, Blackpool are on a decent run. If you could say that, I know they haven't been winning games, but teams at the bottom are still down. I think for me, Rotherham United, Lincoln, Stevenage, Blackpool, Barnsley are in that period where I think season pretty much
On the
gets to the end of the
beach.
year. Well, there's unless you want to miraculously run and it's no season's over. But at this moment in time, you'd fancy playing those sides. You really would over Burton Albion, who are fighting for their lives. And
That's what I mean. When you get to March, like no game is easy. Like you think that, and ironically, we struggled against teams that had nothing to play for at the back end of last year. So we'll have to wait and see. But I quite liked the appointment of Neil Harris when he came in back to Cambridge. He got a real kick out of him last time, and he's been able to do that again. Clearly, this time, Josh Stokes is a phenomenal talent, Ben. He's someone that I would envisage going on and playing in Bristol City's first team next year. Just the way he carries the ball, the way he moves, his ability to unlock space and drive into it is outstanding. And he was the difference between these two teams yesterday. The feeling around Cambridge at the minute, very positive. Obviously, with Mark Bonner coming back as director of football, the feel-good factor is back. They've sort of forgiven Harris for the manner in which he left last time. Looking at the table, Ben, is there too much for them to do? They're 8 points. They're 8 points adrift still, despite winning. They could have done with Peterborough and Burton not winning yesterday. You're not the only one, lads. It's a big win, but it's a lot to do, isn't it? But what I like about this appointment and what it feels like is that even if they go down, Cambridge will be in a much better place, like with Neil Harris, than they would be with Gary Monk. It was a really, really good win for them over Stockport, who Stockport can just throw out one of these performances every now and again, Ben, can't they? Where they're subpar. You think about games that they've lost this season. They lost, was it 5-0 at home to Wycombe? They've gone on the road. They came here and lost. I know they've had a couple of games in which they've lost on the road as well. So Stockport, whilst they are technically they're above, but Leyton Orient, Ben, could be 1 point behind them if they win the game in hand. Same as Charlton, same as Bolton. So they are in that mix. But for me, I don't know. They've just got enough quality, maybe more so than those slightly below them. So yeah, they'll be disappointed to lose. Obviously, our mates Callum Connolly got sent off, which is a shame really for him because he's had a really decent run at centre half over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, a really big win for Cambridge. Doesn't really change the picture. If Peterborough and Burton hadn't have won yesterday, it would have massively changed the picture. But unfortunately for Cambridge, it still seems like they've got a really long way to go. But if anyone can do it, maybe Neil Harris is that man. Firefighter.
To climb a mountain, you've got to take your first step without sounding like some sort of, motivational speaker. You've got to, let's be honest about it. And David would probably be saying the same. When he beat Wigan, it was a good result, but it kind of was like, well, it's a good win, but could it mean nothing? It's like a win, it's a start or something. The next win, if they go and back it up, like Fleetwood were 12 points drift and we won back to my games. Probably Bristol R was awesome. We're 6 points drift. I'm like, well, I care again. I feel it's my then we won up away at Lincoln. I'm thinking, right, we're 3 points drift. The game's won. And for 55 minutes with 10 men with a better side. And we're
55, behave yourself.
We were the clear
55 minutes?
We were the better team. We were the clear better team in that football match. Let's be honest.
You had one chance and you scored it, and then you did nothing else.
We limited a really, really good side that,
I'm sorry.
that I've got prime Maradona and Ben House in.
You weren't the best.
By the way, we still bicker about a game. It doesn't matter now because we got relegated. I like to see you sulking. Who wants to finish ninth now? After you sent us down because of that.
I don't want to finish ninth.
Bolton 2, Leyton Orient 1. There'll be a few anginas ticking in Horwich this weekend as well. Bolton Wanderers have actually won 4 of their last 5 league games against the O's, losing on 1 occasion, scoring 2+ in each of those victories. Was it the same scoreline as earlier this year as well? Leyton Orient have failed to win any of the last 17 league away games at Bolton, losing 14 occasions as well. Last winning in September 1970. I'm not going to make a joke. Orient have lost each of their last 7 in succession at this stadium. Bolton Wanderers have won 5 of their last 6 league games as well. That's as many as their previous 15, where they drew 3, lost 7. Changing Ian Evatt wouldn't change anything. However, they are slowly winning games, 15 points from 18, just outside the playoffs now on goal difference. Those big defeats at home to Huddersfield and Stockport could just maybe come back to bite them at this moment in time. Good win against a good side. Leyton Orient have won 12 of their previous 15 matches. And I think that Richie Wellens will be aggrieved that people think Leyton Orient, it's only Bolton. They've lost to Bolton. They've lost to this Stockport. They won't like that because I don't know if you remember after the first 3 or 4 games of the season, they played Birmingham, Bolton. Who else did they play? They played another big, I think, was it Huddersfield maybe? They played someone else that was a good side, fancied. And people going, Leyton Orient season starts now. And he went, no, it didn't. It started 3 games ago. We're Leyton Orient. We should be in these games. If we want to get where we are. And I thought, you actually made a really good point. And I thought you making a good point earlier on this season. I'm thinking, Jesus, he's gone early this year with his good take of the year as well. I'm still waiting for the second one. That's all I'll say.
Charlton, Ben.
What?
Charlton. It was Charlton, Birmingham, and Bolton.
Yeah, Charlton, Birmingham, and Bolton. 3 good sides. Fans at the start of the year. In games, narrow games. Don't get me wrong, but he was saying, I want to be able to compete with these sides, and they've got a squad too now, and he'll be thinking he can go to Bolton and win the game. They went 1-0 up and were warranted for that. It was a tough game for them. Look, that ground's different now. It's different gravy. The atmosphere is incredible. They're right behind the team. You just need to look at the pictures. Everybody's smiling again. They're staying, appreciating the team. They go a goal down 2 months ago. I tell you what, there's booze in the ground. They were waiting for it. They were knowing it's going to happen. It was just a question of when. The Bolton fans probably wanted Leyton Orient to score, if it was 2 months ago. Now it's like, get the ball, we go again. The mentality's changed. The players are living off the fans. I think the Bolton fans, and I don't want to cause disrespect here, was a big part of that why Bolton was struggling. And don't get me wrong, I think the fans at Bolton are terrific. I mean, because they hated the manager so much towards the end, and they built up a really good relationship with Ian Evatt for 4 years. In the last 6 months, it went to pot a little bit. But because they were so focused on, I don't really care about the results. I just want to change the manager. We want to change. That the atmosphere wasn't as intimidating, and it was not very nice, toxic around the football club, and booing, and the players felt pressure. It was, you didn't want to take an extra touch. They were scared to play in front of the supporters. Now all of a sudden the supporters are back on board, back bouncing. There's no better players in this division, than Bolton, your Birminghams, these types of sides when it goes well. You what?
I was about to say, don't upset your Birmingham friends.
No, 100% Birmingham as well, yeah. And then, you've got other football clubs that when you link in the same, you went on that, decent run towards last year because your fans are on board. Now it's not going as well. Again, it's all about positivity without sounding like, a motivational speaker again. Again, a good performance, a good win for them. They got over the line. It was an even game, don't get me wrong, but they had a few more shots on target. Penalty kick won it. Aaron Morley, good win. That win could be the difference at the end of the year.
Well, it was a stereotypical end of season, nearly 6-pointer, wasn't it, for a playoff spot? And to be honest, Ben, it looks pretty even. It looks like Leyton already went there and imposed their game plan. And to be fair, they got in front through Charlie Kelman, who scored a winning goal last week, much to my dismay. But they started really well Leyton Orient. They hassled, they harried, they played good football in the Bolton half. They had a couple of chances that they didn't put on target. And they'll be disappointed that they only went 1 goal in front. But you flip it around and Bolton would also be disappointed that they didn't get in front before the goal. And also they didn't, ascertain that lead a little bit quicker. I thought they were much better. I completely agree with you on what you mean about Ian Evatt and Stephen Schumacher. I feel like he just brings that slightly different aura of the fact that maybe I'm just not Ian Evatt. So, and also you watch his press conferences, Ben. I mean, I watched them just in order to do a bit of research for these things. And Like they're just so motivational. Like you, if you're a Bolton player, you want to sit and listen to what your manager's got to say because he's just so honest and he's so clear. And whilst he doesn't always just blow smoke off his players, he's also slightly critical when he needs to be. And they did need to be at certain points. Certainly that game away at Reading, but they're now 3 wins in a row. Momentum is rolling. The next 2, Ben, Wrexham away, and Birmingham at home. 2 really, really big games for Bolton to see how they get on. But this is a massive win. This will feel like a massive win because Orient were on this team on this run where they felt unstoppable, and they've gone to Bolton and they've stopped them. So that for me just shows a real side. And I've said to you privately and also on here, for me, Bolton Wanderers are going to make the top 6, and this change of manager and this whole rejuvenation of the football club is going to go a long way into determining my thinking. And, they've got some good games now between now and the end of the season to rack up the points, playing those teams that are on the beach, as we so like to say, and I fancy the chances. And, if Bolton can be the team that sneak into the playoffs with momentum, then all of a sudden, Bolton went into the playoffs last year going, oh my God, we've competed for the top 2 all year and we've just got in the playoffs. Like, how demotivating, because we thought we were going to go up next year. This year, if they sneak in 6th with the momentum, like Oxford did last year, all of a sudden we could realistically be talking about Bolton Wanderers winning the playoffs this year.
Can I ask, do you think that would be the same if Wycombe got? I
think so.
Do you think Wrexham will be better finishing 3rd than Wycombe will be?
Yeah, Well, yeah,
Wycombe I think Wycombe been in the ascendancy for longer.
We've said it that also, and I also think Wrexham were just better at playing cup football.
Although they've been found out.
Have they?
That's what you told me on Wednesday on the stream.
Well, they lost, didn't they? So they did get found out by Leyton Orient, did they not?
They didn't get found out by Mansfield, though, did they? They're not finding out anyone at the minute, are they?
Mansfield, Mansfield.
I'll tell you what, right? They'll beat Burton next week. I'm telling you now, they will beat Burton next week.
That might knock David down a peg, might it? So, I'm sure we're going to knock him up a peg in a couple of minutes when we go through the game. But I completely agree. Wrexham for me I think if Wycombe got into the playoffs, having been in 2nd and 1st pretty much the majority of this season, it's just so mentally killing. Like, it's just, like you're chasing that automatic and you miss out and then you've got to go again. Like Northampton, Ben, you remember when they lost to Bristol Rovers? They've been in the top 3 pretty much all year in League 2 and they lost out on the final day and the playoff campaign was awful. They didn't come up. They had to wait another year to get promoted. So, I think with Bolton, that was such an issue from last year, and that's maybe why they went into that playoff final. Maybe not arrogant, but very confident they were going to beat Oxford because Oxford snuck into the top 6. If Bolton Wanderers and this team can sneak into the top 6 and carry that momentum into games, depending on who they come up against, they're going to be a real threat inside them playoff games, and I'm looking forward to watching that.
Ed, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the support. If you want to become a member down below, there's a members video dropping tonight/tomorrow, filmed on Friday, and a bit of a restructure to the membership page as well, which you can see in that video as well, which is very exciting things coming as well. A game today, Mansfield lose by 2-1 against a Wrexham side that, yet again, Jake, we are on this channel, and in the last 6, right, Wycombe got a point. So 6 games ago, Wycombe got a point, Wrexham down. So Wycombe plus a point. Then Wycombe win, then Wrexham draw. So that's, again, +4 in Wycombe's favour. Then Wycombe draw, and then Wrexham lose. That's 5 in Wycombe's favour. Then Wycombe draw, so that goes 6, but then Wrexham go with a win, 3 points behind. Then they both kind of win, and then Wycombe get a win as well, where Wycombe drop points. So it almost feels like one will drop points and one will win, and then we're not seeing really a period where they've, both won game after game. And it almost feels like, well, something slowly changing at both football clubs. But a massive win for Wrexham. They needed to it. Phil Pogson actually said that They'll utilise the whole squad. They need to take a bit of a deep breath. Things are going to happen at the football club, in the next few weeks. Good performance from them at times over recent weeks where they maybe not got the rub of the green. Again, even game today. Had 2 shots on target, scored both. Well, scored 1 because 1 was a known goal as well. Max Cleworth or Clayworth, I can't pronounce it. It's Max Cleworth, but in Wales they pronounce it weird. Can you help me out?
Max Clee worth about £4 million. That's what I told him.
Yeah, I like that as well. They are now only 3 points behind Wycombe Wanderers with 14 games to go. A tough period coming up. They've got a semi-final on Wednesday. Bolton Wanderers at the racecourse to come on Saturday before trips to Huddersfield, at home to Rotherham, away at Reading, Wycombe away on the 15th of March could be pivotal. 22nd, Stockport. 29th, Exeter. That's a lot of games in March. 7 games in 29 days. Big win. But for Mansfield, 8 defeats in 9. That's as many as their first 23 games of the season.
Yeah, it's the first time Mansfield have scored at home in 4 games, Ben, today. I don't know about you. Did you watch this one, Ben? Because it was on Sky.
No, I was in Accrington, mate, today.
Of course you were. You were playing darts with the Asp.
I wasn't playing, I was watching.
I watched this one.
I did meet him.
I mean, there we are. I mean, Mansfield gave Wrexham the perfect lift up. I don't know if you wouldn't have seen it, but an own goal from I think it was, is his name McDonald? I think it was McDonald. It wasn't McLaughlin. It was McDonald. I'm pretty sure. Bear with me while I quickly just. It was Callum McDonald who. And it was a lovely finish into. It was a lovely finish into his own net. To be fair, and then at that point, it sort of felt like Wrexham were on top, but they had a really good chance to go 2-0 up where the ball falls. I think it was Sam Smith. He takes it off the goalkeeper, rounds the keeper, and squares it to and then he said James Rodriguez there, but Jay Rodriguez, who has literally got the whole goal to aim at, and he literally finds the man on the line. And if it had gone to 2-0 Wrexham, I don't think Mansfield would have come back, but they did. They worked their way back into the game. Caelan Vickers, someone that I said to you on Wednesday night, was good, caused Wrexham a few issues. Aerially, I thought they were good. Keanu Bacchus sort of making those forward runs as well. And they got themselves back into it through McDonald, who reatoned for his own goal. And then in the second half, we had a long injury due to Andy Cannon, so we hope he recovers well. Wrexham just went up a gear. And you could just tell that Mansfield couldn't live with them. They were playing it around really well. Ollie Rathbone had a particularly good game in midfield. I thought Matty James, when he came on, looked really good. But the winning goal comes from Max Cleworth, Max Cleworth, sorry, not Matt. Lovely strike for a centre half. It's a lovely finish, Ben, from the edge of the box. You don't see many centre halves, and he's 21, 22, and he's played 120, 130 games in Wrexham's first team. Look, Wrexham might not get promoted this year, but he will definitely be playing in the Championship next year for somebody. Somebody will take a gamble on someone like him at 21 to have played so many games for a high-profile team as well. And he gets the winner. And like we say, that's 3 away wins in a row now for Wrexham, I think, who, they were meant to struggle on the road, but that's a really good run for them. And it was pivotal. Wycombe dropping points, Huddersfield losing, Stockport losing, Birmingham dropping points as well. This has been a really good weekend for them to back it up. And now you say they've got a busy March, Ben, but when you're winning games like Wrexham are at the minute, you just want the games to come every 3 days. It is as easy as that. Trust me, we've been on that run. Leyton Orient have been on that run over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But it was a really good win for them. Mansfield, Ben, I don't know how worried you are for them, because whilst they are...
You're not worried for them. Don't give me
I'm not worried for them personally, but in terms of them going down, obviously, they've got a game in hand on some of the teams below them. But, the former Burton, the former Crawley. Is that our picture at Wembley?
Yeah.
Christ, I'll make sure I've lost some timber by then. Yeah, I think Mansfield can rely they've had a really good start. I know I've seen that comment. I'm just choosing to ignore it.
I've got that in my notes. I swear to God, I've got that word in my notes.
If they continue to fall at the way they are, Ben, then they're in the bottom 4 race, aren't they?
You say games come quick and fast, and you want them to when you're winning, when you're Mansfield in an injury crisis.
Yeah.
On makeshift back 3.
Where are you going with this?
What?
Where are you going with this? What game are you going to?
Mansfield, makeshift back 3. You don't want games to come quick and fast. I think a lot of supporters will be now looking underneath. They were 4 points off the playoffs 6 weeks ago. Now they're looking over your shoulder, and with the way that the teams below them are playing, you never know. Lincoln 0, Burton 1. Burton have won 5 of the last 7 against the Imps. Over the last 2 previous meetings before this, the Imps had won. Speed camera. Burton Albion have won. Burton Albion have just lost 2 of their last 8 Football League games against the Imps, winning 5, drawing 1. Winning on each of their last 4 visits to Sincil Bank. Lincoln City have won 2 of their last 9 home matches, drawing 3, losing 4, despite actually scoring more goals than the opposition, 10-9. Lincoln have won 4 matches in the last 20, drawing 7, losing 9. They were in the playoffs after just 15 games of this season as well. A disastrous last 18 games for the Imps. This season, Burton have just won 3 of their 22 league games played on a Saturday, drawing 8, losing 11, scoring more than just 1 goal on 5 occasions as well. So that's why Burton have struggled. However, in the last 9 matches, Burton Albion have picked up 5 wins, 3 draws, and a loss. The last 3 games have been away at Bristol Rovers, Stevenage, and the Imps as well. However, the way they play it, the Imps, it feels like a home game because, well, it wouldn't because Burton don't win at home, but it feels like Lincoln is their playground.
Just be careful.
Burton have collected 13 points in their last 6 away matches, 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. They had 6 points away from them in the first 11. However, the Brewers have the worst home record in League One, collecting just 13 points. And with 7 of their last 13 matches coming at the Pirelli, that has got to change. Michael Skibala, 73 games in charge. Jake, he told me, he did tell me this before we came on. Mark Kennedy, I have said for a long while, Michael Skibala has got better players. He's got, in my opinion, a better playing squad. He's got better technical, skillful players at the football club. Yes, bigger expectations. Michael Skibala, yes, don't get me wrong, did a good job last year. But for me, since then, let's be honest, the last year has been a sustained period of poor performances, Lincoln City on expected goals in terms of winning the game of football, against their opposition. They'd be 6th in the division if it was won on that. Unfortunately, Michael, it's won on putting the ball back in the onion bag, as Jake would say, powerfully, as Jack Ward would say, and with precision, as Tom would say, on an old podcast of ours. Again, it's a difficult one. We'll come to Burton in a minute. You messaged me something yesterday. Skibala out.
Correct.
You've had 24 hours to think about it.
Yep.
Have you calmed down?
No.
Right.
I haven't. I haven't calmed down. 4 wins in 20 is not good enough. We've made no progression. We have made absolutely no progression under Michael. There's no style of play. The way in which he manages the players day to day, I hear some awful things at the EPC. I think he's won in 73 games. He's won 2 more games than Mark Kennedy had.
I've just been telling you this for weeks.
And what I would say is, you have to bear in mind, Michael went on a run where they won 10 in 16. So clearly, Michael is right. That's it. I'm not messaging him at all tomorrow. He can clear off. I've not calmed down, mate. We lost that game yesterday. Burton, and I know there's a few Burton fans in here. Burton didn't do enough to win the game. We lost the game by making the wrong subs again. Michael's done that so many times. The style of play is particularly negative, playing the ball long. Look, when you're not on a run, Ben, you've said this to me so many times, when you're not on a run, when you're on a run of bad performances, the fine margins don't go for you. you know, we talk about the one that went against us away at Leyton Orient last week. We have another 2 go against us on Saturday in terms of disallowed goals. The Jovan Makama one, sometimes they go for you, especially when the defender who gets fouled is getting nowhere near the ball anyway. But yeah, look, they don't look like they're playing for the manager. There's a lot of bad things that I'm hearing behind the scenes. It's not looking pretty, and we've not progressed. That's the end of that's the thing. What in my opinion, what we should do now is Michael's going to be an expensive mistake to get rid of, but I think we have to cut our ties now. Let the new manager come in. Let the new manager come in and assess this team and go again in the summer, because I don't know. And the one thing, Conor McGrandle stays on the pitch. I've got no idea how. He was getting absolutely run ragged in midfield, and he stays on. It's frustrating, mate. It is frustrating because the run at the back end of last year raised the expectations, and probably wrongly so. Lincoln are a mid-table League One club, and we're in mid-table League One now. And on the face of it, we should be happy with that, right?
Yeah.
But we can do so much more.
I get that. And for me, Fleetwood are in the same boat. I'm not having to go PY because this is not on him at all. It's not on, I wouldn't even say it's on Charlie, not a managerial thing. I want to enjoy what I watch from a team. Now, a lot of my opinions on Lincoln are mainly based how I feel with Fleetwood. So I try, or any like Burton Albion, I try and empathise when in situations I've been with my football club in certain situations and compare it, you know, a little bit. And I sympathise that you're going through the same period as us, slightly maybe 6 months later on than us because we've had a managerial change, that Scabala's done a good job for your football club, and 3 months ago you're calling him an elite manager and saying he's probably the best in the division. 3 months later, you are now telling me that he's not up to scratch. For me, I think he's a good coach. I do think he's a good coach. Unfortunately, I don't think that he's got that man management. That if you look at Gareth Ainsworth, you stand up and listen for him. He hasn't got the quality, but in terms of the squad, I mean, you need at League One. I think man management is the most important trait in a coach, because that can lead to, if you're got a bit of announced coaches around, if you've got good coaches around you and you're good at man management, which Lincoln City do have good coaches at that football club, I don't care what anybody says, that you just need to manage the players. And too many players have left that football club in the last 12 to 18 months. You look at Adelican, you look at Rob Street, you look at JJ McKeon, and you look at, that's just three to name a few. Dylan Duffy. That has gone and thrived at elsewhere. Don't get me wrong, JJ's gone to another League One football club. Dylan Duffy's gone to League Two, a good League Two football club that, let's be honest, is a progressive. Probably Chesterfield are up similar sizes. Maybe Lincoln just a little bit bigger than Chesterfield. It's not like he's gone to Harrogate or Fleetwood, no disrespect, teams like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. I think the style is not great. Home form's a worry. And I don't think that I remember speaking to you even after a win, where if you've won, I said to you before, how down you are when you won. The other day you won 3-0. The segment was 7 minutes long the other day about Lincoln. You tell me 12 months ago, would it have been that? No, it wouldn't.
No.
That, for me, tells me everything you need to know that you're not enjoying watching your team. You said to me after the Wigan game, you don't want to go to Leyton Orient, not just because of the financial impact it has, you know, at a tough time for you and the world that we live in. I don't know why I did that, the world that we live in. But it's, you don't enjoy what you're watching. I'm going to Gillingham on Tuesday. Do I enjoy what I'm watching? No. But you sit by your football club, and that's what you are. You're going to be there. I just think that Scoobs has done a good job. I don't think they'll sack him. I think they'll stick by him because they'll look at it as Lincoln City are 13th in the division. I think that in the nice way possible, if Lincoln are going to change manager, which you want, you're going to have to go through a period where Ian Evatt did, where you probably go and lose 4. You're going to have to go and lose 4 or 5 on the bounce to really not end the season and think, right, but you got a difficult decision now where you're probably going to finish mid-table, and that'll probably be enough for him to start next year. So do you think that if you have him next year and you're writing off a bit of next year? So I think a decision's got to be made, and I don't. I remember speaking to Sue, and the word you used about him was, I didn't really get him. And that's everything you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. What I think will happen, Ben, is that Michael will stay in till the summer, and then the club will just look to part ways then. That is what I think will happen. He's got 3 years left on his contract, so it's not going to be cheap. But for us to move forward, I think that ultimately has to happen. It's frustrating because I like Michael. He's a nice bloke. Every time I've met him, he's been really nice to me. He was nice to me out in Spain. He's always shook my hand when I've watched him, when I've been there to watch him get off the coach. But look, like you say, I'm now. I don't really want to go to Barnsley on the weekend. I don't particularly want to go to Birmingham the weekend after that. But I'm gonna go because I support Lincoln. So I don't know. It's just not a nice situation to be in. And yesterday he lost us the game. He lost us the game by taking Sam Clucas off, who was best player on the pitch, probably bar Charlie Webster, was causing Burton issues, and he took him off. And there's been one too many times I've been frustrated with his substitutions. And ultimately, when you consider style of play, where we were, it's frustrating. And for me, I am unfortunate. I don't like saying this. I don't like people losing their jobs, but I am Michael Skubala out now. I am.
Okay. I'm not going to prod the needle. I think we've got to say a lot on Burton Albion, who have been fantastic lately. Another victory. You saw it up hand and a great finish, I must say. Their 7th victory of the season. Gary Bowyer, what a job he's doing. I labelled on social media on Saturday evening, I think that if Burton Albion are to stay in this division, and it is a wild call, I know what Davis is doing at Birmingham City is phenomenal. We expected that. Bloomfield's gone. Parkinson's doing well at Wrexham. Shelley's doing great at Stockport. Well backed. Richie Wellens at Leyton Orient will be up there. I think that you'd also have to give mentions. If I was honest with you, up until maybe 10 games ago, Nigel Clough would have been in the picture. If Crawley were to stay in the Scotland to stay for the period, you'd probably say him again. But for me, I don't think anyone would come into Gary Bowyer. There were 9 points adrift when he first came into the football club. I think there were 11 points adrift at one stage. And they are now finding a solution. They are now get to 2 points off. And they almost felt like 7 points, 6 points, 5 points, 6 points. They were feeling like, we can't get away from that gap. There's not an opportunity to get out the bottom 4 and you're trapped. And when you're in there, believe me, I said about Fleetwood last year in October, when Fleetwood get out of that bottom 4, we'll stay out of it. Well, we got out of it, but I'd say 30 seconds at Charlton away and somebody scored in the last minute. And then we went back in it and we didn't get out of it all year. So technically I was never wrong. I said this side would stay up. I think it's got quality in it, unlike other sides in that area. You look at the squad yesterday, Charlie Webster's come on leaps and bounds, especially since he's sending off at home to Charlton. You look at the likes of Bod Valson, Burrows coming on, really well as well. Kalinauskas, again, have you got that? Did well.
He had a great shot that hit the corner flag, to be fair to him.
Yeah, Dodson as well has been excellent as well. Sweeney. So these squad, Max Crocombe, for me, is a very compliment goalkeeper. Gary Bowyer gets sides, well organised, hard to beat. And you look at every football club he's been at England. Bradford City at the time, terrible owners. Salford, the expectation of that football club where he really put pressure on the playoffs and unfortunately just about missed out. Blackpool, I would say, is probably the best manager that they've had. I would say since Ian Holloway. I think Gary Bowyer did a better job than Neil Critchley because Critchley had a good squad and had a decent budget. Gary Bowyer had nothing, like absolutely had a pot noodle to spend. That's it. And then he did a really good job, out in Scotland. And everywhere he goes, people respect him. Blackburn the same. Did a good job so he's come in there, experienced, and done phenomenal. I think that he'd be my manager of the season. Look, he's not like Gareth Ainsworth. They're so different, but they're good for different reasons. I think now they will stay in the division. They are now, yes, 2 points adrift, but they now only, you look at the table with how close it is. The 3 points off Exeter in 18th. They're 4 points off 16th place. And they've got, yes, they played a game more, but with 13 games to go, believe, as Ted Lasso would say.
You look at the momentum.
I'm trying to, that's my belief sign.
Well, you look at momentum, and that will tell you that Burton Albion probably will stay up. Yeah. What I thought about Burton yesterday was they weren't fantastic. They came and they had a game plan, and they were what they wanted to do was stay in the game until the last minute and try and nick something, and that is exactly what they did. It's a really good away performance from Burton. They were, much to my annoyance, time wasting pretty much straight away, but that's what you do when you go to a ground where you want to try and take it as far as you can. They didn't create a huge amount. There was one for Burrell, put it over the bar, but apart from that, I just thought they came to frustrate us, and they did exactly that, and they got the fine margins. And I won't talk about the referee because it will get me even more riled up. But they got the fine margins. They did, and that's what you need when you need the points. And Burton were able to get that. And the goal was really well worked. Charlie Webster, I thought, was probably the best player on the pitch. He was outstanding. A few nice touches, couple of nice turns, balls across in front of our midfield. I thought he was outstanding. And he takes the goal really well. He does. It's a nice finish, and it's past Zach before he knows it's there. So, yeah, Burton have got momentum, and they'll fancy themselves to go anywhere now and get 3 points. They are, if they can set up with a game plan like that against us, they can do it against anybody, and they'll frustrate teams. And they're sort of playing a little bit like how a Gareth Ainsworth team plays. They're staying in games, making sure they're not out of sight, and then pouncing when they have the opportunity. And there they are. Obviously, I'm annoyed that they've beaten us, but they've come here bloodied our nose and they've won the game. Fair play to them. It's a good away performance.
It is. I'm not going to keep winding you up. I'm only having a laugh with you. Hopefully, you're taking good spirits. Rotherham 0, Barnsley 1, and Adam Phillips' penalty won the game. Before this one, Barnsley had lost 5 of the previous 6, drawing 1. Many defeats in the previous 19 before that. Rotherham have failed to win any of the last 11 league games against Barnsley, drawing 3, losing 8. Last win on home soil against Barnsley was 1982. Barnsley have won each of the last 6 league games against the Millers, conceding just 1 goal in that period. And Rotherham are winners in their last 5 league games, losing 4 of which, with the Millers last enjoying a longer run at this level in December 2017 to get promoted that year. Don't think that's going to happen this time around. Barnsley keep the faintest of chances in on the playoffs with a victory, 7 off there now. Good performance overall as well. A lot better, had a lot more of the ball. Shots were very even. Game was very even in terms of statistics, but Barnsley win it by 0 goals to 1.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been more because they probably should have had another couple of penalties. I don't know if you've seen them. Callum Fowler's reposted the clips on his X account. I know you two are good mates. There was one where there was a handball, which is a definite handball from the Rotherham defender. And there's one where I can't remember who it was, just gets completely cleaned out. And yeah, it maybe should have looked a little bit more emphatic than it did, but to win a South Yorkshire derby, that's now the double completed over Rotherham United. Some good players in that team for Barnes yesterday coming back into the team. Connell's had a prolonged spell out. No coincidence that when Mark Roberts comes back into that back 3, they look more stable. Javigne's had a really good season at right centre back as well.
Brilliant lately.
Phillips adds that bit of bite into midfield, which they've missed. John Russell, I thought, has probably been up there in terms of Barnes' best player this season. He's stepped up and made a big impact. He had a good game. Look, we all know where this Barnsley team gets let down, and it's in the forward areas. They needed strikers, and they didn't get one. Well, they didn't get another 1 or 2 probably that they wanted, but still to go away to Rotherham and win. Never looked like really conceding. Rotherham didn't cause them much grief at all. It's a really big win, and you have to say Barnsley pretty much got to be faultless between now and the end of the season if they're going to finish in the playoffs. And this is a good start to go away at Rotherham and win. Good 3 points. Good
3 points for Northampton. 2 sides in terms of expected goals. In terms of
who did the beat, Ben?
In terms of that, I'll let Jake tell you.
Well, everyone knows who they beat, don't they?
Bristol who?
Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers are back. They're back. About giving out
That's their
3 points.
17th defeat of the season. Only Cambridge on 18 and Shrewsbury on 20 have lost more matches than the Gas. Rovers have lost 13 matches away from home, scoring 11, conceding 31. Before this one, Northampton have just won one of the last 5 league home matches. Slowly but surely finding a way out, and they've needed to with some big victories lately. From the Cobblers, beating Mansfield. They've won 3 of the last 4, which is really good to see as well. 36 points, 4 points adrift now, but still feel in it. Northampton, 9 wins, 9 draws, 14 defeats. It's not that bad when you look at, Bristol Rovers have lost 13 more, have 3 more games than them. Bristol Rovers are so hot and cold, a bit like Katy Perry. I didn't even mean to do that. It's just come out.
Almost like they're running off like a speed camera.
Yeah, exactly. Good result for the Cobblers. Nice couple of goals as well, especially the second one from Nesta Guinness-Walker, a player that I've liked since he was at Metropolitan Police and went to Wimbledon, and then had spells at Reading and was it Stevenage as well, wasn't he? Good goal by Scott Sinclair to get the opening, but Dylan Costello, who was linked with moves to League Two, and then obviously Northampton got his calling, got 5 goals in the earlier part of the season with Accrington, and they're now missing him. Good performance, good win, 2-1 against a side that are down there with them. If Bristol Rovers would have won that game, they would have leapfrogged their opposition and gone 38 points and potentially keep them in the division. However, Northampton now have the incentive to get away. This is a big game when you look at it.
Mm. Sorry, was that you bringing me in?
Yeah, mate, my voice is going.
Sorry, Ben. We'll rattle through these games because they don't mean a huge amount.
What video? I have. I've got a good video actually of Jack. I think.
Kershaw.
Have I got it?
Have you got it, Nippers? You got it, Nippers?
I don't think I saved it. I sent it to you.
By the way, I love that when you do the podcast, the Fleetwood Town account tweet at FTFC Nippers.
They've told me to get rid of that.
Eh?
They've asked me to get rid of that.
Well, you can. Is that Scott Fielding that's asked you to do it?
Yeah, Scott. Yeah.
I'll
Scott.
send him an email tomorrow. Don't worry.
It wasn't Scott.
Oh, it wasn't Scott. Okay, I'll send him.
He's not called Scott.
They
like it really. They like it really.
I'll send him a strongly worded email. See if we can get it. But yeah, no, this was good performance from Bristol Rovers despite going a goal down. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. Hey,
Sam.
I knew it began with an S somewhere.
Yeah, I call you something else beginning with S, but we'll go there.
Yeah. We better not go there, had we?
Sensible Simon.
Yeah, I'm not sensible at all. Despite going behind, Northampton showed a huge amount of character. Costello, like you say, a really good finish and well top 12. Nesta Guinness-Walker, they've had their issues at left back so far this season of Northampton, and he looks like he's come good for them, really useful down that left-hand side. I think Jed Ward thinks that he's probably going to stick it across goal rather than sneak it in at the near post, which is why it looks so odd from a perspective. But I think the real turnaround under Kevin Nolan has been them 2 lads in midfield. We've mentioned it already, haven't we? In Liam Shaw, but the man that makes them tick is Terry Taylor. He was, how on earth he can't get a game for Charlton? I've got no idea. He was outstanding. He's so technically gifted on the ball. He's sort of similar to Stokes at Bristol City, just in a slightly further back role. Dictates the way this Northampton team play, and I thought he was good value. I thought they were both good value for 3 points. Bristol Rovers, just away record as it comes to it just continues, doesn't it? That's now, I think that's 17 games on the road. They've lost 13. I'm sure our mate Ben Gill will be cursing me for flashing my camera slightly earlier. But they'll be disappointed. They'll be what?
Nothing. Carry on.
They'll be slightly disappointed. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of quality in this team, but I really don't know. I don't know if it's Calderon. I don't know if it's the attitude of some of the players.
Good at home, away from home, it's stinking. But lost 4 games at home.
It's like what's a nice gas that I can think of? When British gas to heat our homes. Good one, nippers. Sorry. Whereas Away from home, they're more like a bit of methane, a bit like a fart.
Oh,
Bad smelling, nobody wants it, and it's not comfortable for anybody involved. So that's like Bristol Rovers on the road so far this season. Yeah, they're not great, are they? They're really not good. But
no.
great
What
win
a
for
lot.
Northampton.
No, they were good yesterday. They were tenacious as well. Very
Were they?
tenacious. And in terms of possession, they were like artificial kind of, repossessions and transitions they were really good at. And I really thought that they were excellent at times yesterday. To come back and win the game, it was terrific as well. And when I watched them against Huddersfield, but home and away from got to the game back, they were excellent on the day as well. And Cameron McGeehan, when I watched him for Scunthorpe, but more for Portsmouth in the 18-19 season, on the 29th of December, he scored a goal against Fleetwood, hit the bar and went in. He was fantastic. You're slowly seeing the best out of him. And I watched him against Mansfield for goals last year. He was excellent as well. So a lot to like about Cameron McGeehan and a lot to like about this Northampton side in terms of for how tenacious they were. Blackpool 3, Crawley 1. Speak me through it.
Blackpool beat Crawley by 3-1. Noel Ennis is making a difference. That's pretty much all I can say on this one. It wasn't a game.
I've got some stats for you.
It's not a game that I watched purely because I've got a mate who's a Blackpool fan, and I don't particularly like.
Go on.
His name's Nippers. No, it's not. It's Seymour. Callum. He's a good. He's a good lad. He's a really good lad. But yeah, no, it was a good win. Niall Ennis, obviously, he's coming and hit the ground running, similar to someone else that I can think of that came into League One last year and hit the ground running. Sorry. I thought they were good value. They're getting on a slight run, aren't they, at the moment? Aren't they, Blackpool? And at home, I was surprised that they won a game, given the fact that they've drawn eight games previous that they drew. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Blackpool, they're one of those teams, aren't they? We're sort of saying from Reading all the way down to probably us, our seasons are well and truly over. But Blackpool will be trying to keep their faintest playoff hopes alive. But for me, I don't think they'll get there.
Crawley have alternated between winning and losing against Lancashire football clubs, winning 4, losing 4 now as well. They actually beat Blackpool on the opening day of the season. Crawley have just won one of their last 20 league games played on a Saturday, losing 14 of them now, which, look, it isn't great to see that as well. It was only the 4th league meeting between the two football sides. Blackpool winning for that as well. It was their first victory at home in September. They're now 9 unbeaten at home, you could say, because if you lose a game, well, you're not won in 9. Only Birmingham City have actually lost fewer games than the Tangerines on home soil this year. Charlton
home what?
And what?
Home soil.
Soil. So, yeah.
Yeah, but
and that unfortunately Blackpool haven't been, as tenacious and haven't really had the artificial.
You and Kershaw have got a bet. You have. You definitely have.
Well, I've won it anyway. So yes,
right,
but yeah, a great
time you won a bet with someone else, wasn't it?
Yeah, Crawley have just collected 23 points in the last 30, winning 5 occasions. A difficult one away from home. Nice goal though, really good. Ball and the interchange on the far hand side, and Kamari Doyle, it's a fantastic finish into the far corner. Shrewsbury 0, Stevenage 1. Stevenage won each of the last 4 league games against Shrewsbury Town, keeping a clean sheet in every single one of those. A tough week for Shrewsbury, who were just 3 points adrift at one stage. Now it goes back to 7 after a few difficult results and other teams around them winning. They did win back-to-back games to get a point away at Reading. 3 defeats on the spin. 7 points adrift with 39 available. It looks a big, big ask.
Yeah, it doesn't. Stevenage won this game, Ben, without having a shot on target. So how they've managed that, I've got no idea. They were. I don't know, mate. They were decent. It's an own goal from Pierre, but they're. We know this Stevenage team don't score many goals, so the fact they didn't have a shot on target doesn't massively surprise me. They stumble the way through games, but it was a good win for them, certainly in terms of mine and Matt Farley's bet, which I'm thinking I'm going to have to start paying.
No, it's part of a bet. That's all I'll say. I had a bet on, and I've won
I
the
told
bet.
you.
That's all I
I
will
told
say.
you. How much have you won?
It's not for money. I just said I'd get something in at some point in this stream, and I have. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
about me
no,
switching.
the job does look a lot tougher now for Shrewsbury. Obviously, we've already spoken about wins for Burton, Peterborough, Northampton. Obviously, Exeter being dragged in it. They'll maybe look at them and eye them up, but they've played the most games out of anybody bar Burton in the bottom four at the moment. It looks like a really big ask for Gareth Ainsworth to do it. Or if you had to say you want one man to try and do it, Gareth Ainsworth isn't a bad shout at it. Yeah, I bet he looks like a prune at the moment in that hot tub. But yeah,
Go on, the boys.
Go on, the boys. Yeah, goodness me, I won't hear the end of that if they finish above us, will I? Yeah, no, it was a good win for them. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a clip of Dan Phillips taking the ball to the corner and playing with 4 or 5 Shrewsbury players like they're absolutely not there. But yeah, big job for Shrewsbury, I think. Certainly, given you're looking at the fixtures that they've got. Next month, Peterborough big one, Bristol Rovers a big one, Exeter and Burton. We sort of said we'd know more by the end of this period. Well, they've not started off on the right foot. They can get 8-9 points maybe out of those 4 games. Maybe it's a different story, but it looks particularly tough for them at the moment, I have to say.
Reading 0, Birmingham 0, Lyndon Dykes, Mr. Sitter. Reading have won 9 in the last 13 home matches, drawn 2, lost 2. Again, though, the second time this season they've could failed to score in the last 13 matches at home. Birmingham unbeaten in 16, 4th draw in that period. Longest run in the same season, where they got 20 in 1994, 1995. 0-0, 70 points, point for Reading. Boring.
Correct. Clean sheet, though. So points for Ben Davis in the fantasy team. So it's not the end of the world.
What a pick that is.
Did you pick him?
No, but it's a good pick.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot to say. Probably a good point for Reading, better point for Reading than it is for Birmingham, obviously, given that Wrexham have won today. But yeah, no one's catching Birmingham, are they? What is difficult to talk about, Ben, obviously, is this situation. We don't know what's going to happen with Reading at the end of the year, do we? We're led to believe that if they're not sold, then we might be talking about another club that's kicked out the Football League, and that would be such a shame to lose Reading. And I don't particularly know what would happen if Reading get kicked out of the league. Does then that mean there's only 3 teams that are going to get relegated? So, let's say they kick Reading out of the EFL, right? Like they did with Macclesfield, and they've done with they kicked Macclesfield out of the Football League, didn't they? And Stevenage got a reprieve. I
don't think we want to talk about that because it's not going to happen. I don't think.
No. But I just wonder what the situation. I wonder what the situation.
Yeah, I think they'll just relegate 3 clubs
with Reading, which would be a shame. Yeah. We don't want that. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. We want there to be a conclusion for them, but it's just not very nice for them at the moment. It's a good point against Birmingham. The players on the pitch are fighting for the club and the fans, and that's all that matters, really.
Oh God, Morecambe going to get away with it again, aren't they? They'll never be relegated. Wycombe 0, Wigan 0. Wigan go and sink the gaff out at Adams Park. Good point for them. Don't get me wrong, but they go and get a point. Not great to watch, but get a point and keep a clean sheet. Fair play to them. Wycombe have only won 4 of the last 20 Football League matches against Wigan, to be fair. Drawing 5, losing 11. Wycombe are unbeaten in their last 18 games played on a Saturday. Wycombe are unbeaten in their last 18 games played on a Saturday, and they've lost the last 4 in succession. They've drawn their last 4 in succession at home on a Saturday. Wigan now away from home. 3 away wins and a draw on a Saturday, that is. Again, they're just so inspiring. And they get points, but they're like, yawn. Do you know what I mean? And look, it's about picking up points, and Burton would be doing anything to yawn and just be out of the bottom 4. Crawley, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, I get it. But the questions have got to be asked on this side, surely. Wycombe, good point, but I don't know. There's something twitchy going on at Wycombe. I don't think they're the real deal at this moment in time.
Wigan? Yeah, no, I don't either. They are stinking the gaff out, like you mentioned. And it begs the question: has Maloney, has he progressed them? Like, I know he did really well to keep them up last season. Absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. But like, they've not kicked on. I thought Wigan were going to kick on this year. I know they've maybe not got the biggest budget in the league, but you'd anticipate Wigan are a big football club, so they might have kicked on and maybe would be higher up the table than where they are. And Sean Maloney's style of football is quite boring to watch, like you mentioned. They go to places and they defend. They defend really well. So like when they go away to Wycombe and they go away to places like Birmingham, they defend really well. Like it looks good on paper, but like in reality, Wigan need to take that next step and go and start beating the teams down there. And they just can't do. They just struggle to do that. They struggle to break teams down. Like if Dale Taylor's not going to score or get involved in terms of scoring or making them, Wigan Athletics just aren't going to score. And they need to make sure that they spend this Tello Asgard money. It doesn't help that they've accrued such big fees for players this year and have not been able to spend it. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I feel like Wigan fans might be sort of in a similar boat to us with Skibala. They might love Maloney as a player and as a head coach just to what he's done. But for Wigan Athletic to progress, do they maybe need to get rid of Sean Maloney?
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. If you've got any questions, get them in down below. I'm guessing you've not done predictions.
Well, you know that because I've not really wanted to do anything in regards to football
Yeah, of course
today.
you haven't. Right. So 5 minutes of questions and we'll head off.
We've still got to do some predictions, mate.
Yeah, go on then.
Are you in a mood?
No, go on.
You sound like
No,
you're in
go
a mood.
on. I'm not reading a comment. I'm reading a comment here.
Right, you're reading a comment. Okay, all right. You can go first, Ben, for this week. Where are we? Have we got games on Tuesday, Ben?
Yeah, 3.
Right. Okay. All right. You can. Well, I'll let you have them all. We're not going to do a show midweek for 3 games, are we?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So we've got Northampton versus Barnsley, Ben.
2-0 Barnsley.
I'm going to go 2-1 Barnsley. Wigan Huddersfield.
2-0 Huddersfield.
I'm going to go 1-0 Huddersfield. And Birmingham, Leyton Orient, Ben.
2-1 Birmingham.
I'm going to go 3-1 Blues. Moving on to the weekend then, Ben. You can do the first 6, then I'll do the final 6, and we'll call it evens. Birmingham versus Wycombe.
Big game. 2-0 Birmingham.
I'm going to go Birmingham 1, Wycombe 0. Wrexham Bolton at the racecourse.
1-0 Wrexham.
I think it will be Wrexham 2, Bolton 2. Barnsley Lincoln.
2-1 Barnsley.
I'm going to go 2-0 Barnsley. Burton versus Mansfield.
2-1 Mansfield.
I'm going to back Burton to win. Burton 2, Mansfield 0. Mansfield crap. Crawley Cambridge.
2-1 Crawley.
I'm going to go 1-0 Cambridge. Right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bristol Rovers are playing Rotherham, Ben.
It's your turn to go first, mate.
No, this is the 6th one, so you can do this one.
1 each.
2-1 Gas. Why not? Exeter Northampton. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Exeter win.
1-0 Cobblers.
Stevenage Huddersfield. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-0 Huddersfield.
Posh versus Shrewsbury. I'm going to go Peterborough 2, Shrewsbury 0.
Peterborough 2, Shrewsbury 1.
Leyton Orient versus Charlton. I'm going to go Orient 1, Charlton 1.
What was the game?
All right, Wardy. Orient Charlton.
Don't call me him. Orient Charlton. 2-0 Orient.
Stockport Blackpool. I'm going to go Stockport Stockport 2, Blackpool 1.
Stockport 2, Blackpool 0.
And then Wigan, Reading. I'm going to go Wigan 0, Reading 0.
Wigan 1, Reading 0.
There you have it.
Any questions? Let them get them in the chat down below.
We'll be doing midweek next week, Ben.
Will we?
The week after, sorry. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there's a full game week.
Wow. 1, 2,
12.
Are playing. Second are playing. All the
Are
top
you-
12 are playing. 13. Well, the top 12 are playing. That means. Does that mean the bottom 12 are playing as well? What's
We're,
12 and 12?
Where are you? So you're playing. So Fleetwood have a game this midweek.
Yes, mate. We're at Gillingham on Tuesday. Can't
Gonna
wait
pick-
for that. I'll
gonna
leave
pick-
my gaff at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll be back at 5 next day.
You got the next day off work.
I think so.
You think?
I was
so?
meant to be in at 8, but I might have sorted it to be off.
And
Although I did
then
book this off in January.
have you got?
February.
Have you then got?
Sort of,
Have
no,
you?
no, January,
have you got? Have you got a midweek game the week after as well?
Yeah, Crew away.
Well, that's not. That's a nice little local one for you.
Yeah, it's nice and local, but I tell you what, mate, we're playing Saturday, Tuesday. Just want a break.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you
I'm
mean.
fed up of football, to be fair.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Mate.
I reckon going up. Playoffs if they do.
Yeah, if they have to win the playoffs, but I think Bolton might win the playoffs.
I think 49 points will keep you up this year.
48 for me.
Really? Not great. Not great. Frustrating. Not much in the game. Grimsby win the fine margins. Good goal by Grado. Frustrating, isn't it? You know, there's been good performances, bad performances this year. Played well Tuesday, should have won the game, didn't. Look, it's a decent season. We've stayed in the division, which was always the first game, I think. I think we're a couple of wins away, not done yet. But look, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Who gets second?
Wrexham.
You think?
Yeah.
Not bad considering they've been found out.
They got found out against Leyton Orient. It's one game.
Who do you think will get? I think you'll get Wrexham.
Yeah, Wrexham, Birmingham, Hollywood final. You thought you were done with. You thought you were done with them.
He's walked into a dressing room that's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but he's done a great job there.
There he has, hasn't he?
Where's Alex Mitchell?
Where is Alex Mitchell? Charlton fans, let us know. Where is Alex Mitchell? He's been missing.
Yeah. Just changing division. Yeah, well, I've changed division recently as well. Notts County are a good side. We got them on Saturday. Can't wait for that. Just finished our podcast and also not been able to catch up with the show. We'll be watching back from the start now. Can't wait for the exciting talk about Wigan 0.
Lasted about 20 seconds, Charlie, so I won't bother.
Yeah, absolutely. Lasted about 20 seconds. Flash over. Where do Wycombe finish? I still think they'll get second.
Third.
We agree to disagree. Lincoln Speed Camera is back.
How long ago did we speak about Bristol Rovers? About 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I would go back 20 minutes, Ben. You might want to see. You might have something you might want to look at.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you going to go to? Would you try and get a ticket for that? If that was
if I can get one. I'm in London the day before, so let's see. There we are. Wigan have scored 21% of our goals with Bristol Rovers this season. We've been awful in front of goal. Bristol Rovers.
Bristol Rovers. They are, Ben. That's another stat.
My bottom four is Cambridge, Crawley, Shrewsbury. Oh, Exeter.
You nasty man. You nasty
That's
man.
my bottom four.
Cambridge.
Thanks, Chris.
Shrewsbury, Crawley. Mansfield. They're going to get suckered in.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much for watching this 90-minute extravaganza. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please remember to like. Please remember to subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. Go and follow Jake on Twitter, Jake_Tong98. Go and listen to his podcast. What's it called again?
Come on, mate. That's my
No,
best
I know
mate.
what it's
You know
called,
that.
but what's it called again for the viewers?
It's called Here for the Lincoln. The
You're not very
podcast.
good at this game, are you?
The
If I said,
podcast.
"Oh, it's podcast," I need it to come from you. What's it called again? Let's have a chat.
It's called the Here for the Lincoln podcast, and it will be out tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Who's going to be the first viewer, do you think?
I reckon. Well, someone sends a lad that I know works in the factory. He always sends me a little screenshot of him listening to the podcast about 6:00 in the morning. So it'd probably be him. Connor his name. Good lad.
Wow. I hope he's got his paracetamol already anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like, please subscribe on your way out. Been a good one. Thank you to Sue. Jim how's the gym going?
Good, mate. It was good.
For the weekend off?
Well, I don't normally train on the weekends. I only train in the week, but I can feel it, definitely.
I tell you what, I saw a video the other day. You know when like Mick McCarthy went 1 winning 17, it can't go on. It can. And this is for me. 2 leg days in 2025. It can't go on like this. It can.
That's what I've got tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
You look forward to leg day. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Thanks, everybody that's watched. Until next time. See you later. Up the League One. See you next Sunday.
See you on Sunday.